Ladies and gentlemen, it's Saturday night's main event. And then in the main event, it is the hottest duo in wrestling podcast. That's right. It is the Hot Tag Podcast. Teddy, what's up, my man? How we doing?
I'm here. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling alive. Wrestling, it's a good time to be a wrestling fan, Shake.
Great time to be a wrestling
To
fan.
be a wrestling. Yo, let's just recap. This year, Cody Rhodes leaves AEW to WWE. We have Vince McMahon leaves WWE. Triple H is the head of creative on the AEW side of things.
What's up, Diggs? Sorry, go.
On the AEW side of things, we have the Acclaim, the hottest tag team probably out right now. Some people are calling them the second coming of DX. I'm definitely getting the Scissor Me Daddy foam finger. I'm getting it. It looks cool, and I'm getting it. I'm gonna hang it on the wall. It's a great time to be a wrestling fan, and we're here for it. I'm here for it. Let me have it.
Hot Tag is locked in at all times. Listen, Monday Night Raw was a good show. I think consistently, weekly, it's getting better. I think the baseline, right, for the show is much higher now than it was when Vince was in charge. Let alone the pay-per-views. I think War Games honestly will be the best pay-per-view so far of the Triple H era. I think the two War Games matches will be the best matches we've had under the Triple H era so far, in my opinion. Like, I just think these superstars are really going to flourish. I think, well, when we find out who the last one for Bianca's team is, there are 10 superstars that are going to absolutely tear the show down. The card isn't super stuffed outside of that, which I think is good. The main point should be those two matches. I'd like to see Seth Rollins on the pay-per-view because we haven't in a while. But that's down the line. We can make some predictions for War Games. But we got more to talk about. Teddy, you mentioned something you wanted to talk about from Monday Night Raw and a storyline you were upset about.
I wouldn't say I'm upset about it.
But you're not.
I'm just saying that I'm not as excited about it. So everybody knows who's been following us. If you've been following us, I was a big advocate for Finn Balor versus AJ Styles at WrestleMania. Their first match was at TLC. Great match. Should have been on a WrestleMania. Would have been an all-time classic. So now it's like, and many people said that should have been on a WrestleMania card. You soured it for a TLC. Now I'm like, all right, I've been advocating for it. Now we get it on a Survivor Series, the lowest tier out of the big four pay-per-views. Mm-hmm. Survivor Series is Survivor Series is so low tier that it's been questioned several times whether it's going to remain a big four pay-per-view.
Yeah.
They thought about popping it out for, Money in the Bank. We might pop it out for Money in the Bank. It's so low tier. And now we get it on that show. And I am less excited as I was if it was that WrestleMania card. I don't know why. Part of me thinks it's not going to be as good of a match. Part of me thinks there's going to be some screwy finishes going on. But I just feel like I'm like, oh, all right, yeah, we're going to get this. But, it was really last minute. That's what it is. We just came out of Crown Jewel. And then AJ's like, I challenge you to a match. And I'm like, with a 2-week build-up? Come on. You guys deserve better than this. This deserved to be dragged on for a long period of time and then just let it accumulate to this. And so now I'm just like, all right, cool. That's it. That's how I feel about it. All right, cool. I don't even think it's going to be that great of a match. I think it's going to be hey, it's Survivor Series. It's almost like, Survivor Series is a big four, but it's not.
Right. I mean, let's be honest.
Been big four since, let's be real, it hasn't been a big four since 2005. Right.
Since the brand split and brand supremacy was at its height. You're right. It hasn't been worth the damn cents. And if you take away the debut of The Undertaker in 1991, there's not that many memorable Survivor Series. Yes, Ruthless Aggression era had bangers, and there was good ones here or there. But in the grand scheme of things, as far as Big Four, there have been pay-per-views that have outmatched Survivor Series that weren't part of the Big Four. almost every year. And, I think it goes to more of your point, like, why are we getting Finn and AJ at a Survivor Series? But the only thing I can say to you and other AJ style fans or Finn Balor fans that have been wanting to see this match for a long time and think it could be and should be a WrestleMania match, which I agree with you. I think that with the involvement of Judgment Day and OC, it could drag out. Like, I could see maybe Finn Balor getting a stupid, screwy win and AJ being like, nah, that was BS, but then Finn and them just kind of run away from the OC for a long time. And I could see it, like, you know what I mean? Fizzling out for a little bit, and then all of a sudden, like, at the Royal Rumble, Finn and AJ meet in the Rumble, and then, like, it's a thing after that towards Mania. So that's the hope I would give you.
I thought about that too. Well, here's the thing. AJ would have to win for that to make sense because AJ lost the first match.
When was that?
So then you could say TLC. You didn't hear my whole rant? My whole rant was the first time was at a TLC.
Now I remember
so if
that.
AJ wins, then it's like, oh, you know what? Let's settle this thing, Finn. I would like, but then don't you always feel like the third match there needs to be a stipulation? Like, I feel like I would just want to see these guys in a regular match. Like, I don't want to see them in a stipulation. But, maybe I'm just nitpicking, whatever. But you know what? Aside from that, I have a quick point that I want to run off on, and then we'll get back to the show. Okay. So you mentioned brand supremacy being at its highest. I don't see why we don't go back to brand supremacy right now. Let's talk about it. Let me talk to you, as LA Knight would say. Roman Reigns is the one champion. He doesn't appear on Raw.
No.
He's not on Raw. So it's not an issue of we need a big star over there because he's not on Raw. The shows, Mustafa Ali is the only guy who's been on both shows lately. So you don't need it. And then on the pay-per-views, not every wrestler is on every pay-per-view. They take time off. Like, it's like you have 2 matches from SmackDown, 2 matches from Raw, or 3 matches from SmackDown, 3 matches from Raw. And then that's it. Like, why not just go back to strict brand supremacy? Like, this SmackDown show, this is Raw show. As it is, like we said, we don't always see, like, Roman's not on every pay-per-view either. Right. So there's no argument for it. There's no argument for we need our top guy on every pay-per-view. Well, he's not there anyway. So why not just go back to strict SmackDown pay-per-views, strict Raw pay-per-views, really split it up. So when we do decide to do a brand supremacy again, it's real. Draw the line down, create the tribalism again. Create the days where I was saying F you Cena and you were saying forget Batista. Yeah. Draw those lines again where it's like you got Shawn Michaels, I got Undertaker, you have Triple H, and I got JBL and Booker T and Matt Hardy, because you need all 3 of those guys to make Triple H.
And I had Randy Orton and Jeff Hardy as well. I also had Ric Flair.
But I also had Randy Orton. I had Randy Orton at one point too, but I also had Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio.
And Chris Benoit and Edge.
Chris Benoit and Edge. But the days when you had Randy, I had Edge. But when you had Edge, I had Randy.
Oh, yeah, that's true. There was a time where I had both of them.
Yeah. So it's like, let's go back to those days. Everybody likes it.
And then at a pay-per-view, like a Raw and a SmackDown guy would bump into each other, you'd be like, oh, shit. Like, that's cool shit.
Well, that's the thing. So here you go. There's no such thing as it doesn't make sense that it's a big 4 when on every pay-per-view, Raw and SmackDown are there together. Or is that just my thinking? Part of it, back in the day when I was coming up, it was interpromotional.
Oh.
SmackDown and Raw bring you SummerSlam, Survivor Series, Royal Rumble, WrestleMania.
Yes, I know what you mean. Yes,
it's brought to you by these 2. That's why I thought it was a big 4, because it was interpromotional.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah.
So now, why do we call them the big 4 if everybody's there? What's the difference? Why is it a big 4?
Yeah, I hear you. And like
outside of WrestleMania and outside of Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, I don't understand the other 2. unless you split the paper, unless you split the brand.
Well, SummerSlam has always been.
Well, I guess because SummerSlam's the biggest party of the summer.
Yeah.
But then again, we come
But
down
it was
to
still Raw and
Survivor Series.
SmackDown bring to you the biggest party of the summer.
Yeah, so it's like it doesn't make sense.
No, I know. And listen, I think.
By the way,
what?
I was gonna say. By the way, I'm drinking beer out of a wine glass. So.
Hey, listen, we keep it classy, San Diego. All right. No, but I mean, if we're being honest, I think Triple H wants to go back to the brand supremacy. I think it's the best thing for business. But I messaged you over this past week, and I said Vince put WWE in a really tough spot, putting both the belts on Roman, because now everything's focused on this one guy. Excuse me. And now it's really hard to beat that one guy because the bloodline is white fucking hot. You cannot touch them. And it would have been not equally as hard, but it would have been very, very difficult to take them off of Brock Lesnar. Easier because he's by himself, I get it. But oh my God, they are in such a difficult position with Roman Reigns and the bloodline. And it's going to take a very, very special person. And I feel like I say that weekly now. But it's so true. And every month it's emphasized more and more how it's going to take a very, very special person to beat Roman Reigns. But back to the point of...
Austin Theory said it best. He said it best this week. And, like, it made sense about his cash-in. He was like, listen, I wasn't going to get it off of Roman.
Yes.
Even when he's compromised. If it wasn't Tyson Theory... It was the bloodline. I can't touch this guy.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Like, you can't touch Roman in the bloodline. So I think what's going to happen is once they get it, either one or both belts off of Roman and they're separated again, I think then we get hardcore brand supremacy where it's split. I think we get GMs again because I'm watching. What event am I on? I just finished No Mercy I moved on. Survivor Series 2002. Very timely, right? The very first ever Elimination Chamber is where I'm at. So that was brand supremacy like hell. You had the Raw desk and then the SmackDown desk, and they were talking shit the whole time. The WWE SmackDown Championships were debuted, and Kurt Angle... Oh, no, they weren't debuted then. That was at No Mercy they were debuted. Anyway, but Survivor Series was brand supremacy, and I think that's the best thing for this company. And I think Cody Rhodes will take the Raw brand, and I think Roman Reigns will be the leader of the SmackDown brand. I think when he loses, he'll take some time off, but yeah, it's his show. Very clearly, it's his show.
You know what's funny? I thought about this, and I'm like, Roman has been so dominant. I don't know what the WWE will look like with him not being the world champion. I can't imagine it.
I thought about that today. You said it. But what do you do with him then? Like, he's still Roman Reigns, but like, what is he gonna go? Okay, he could go after Gunther in the IC title. I think that'd be a banger. But like,
but you know what? You do with him what you do with Brock Lesnar. That's it.
Well, that's exactly where
we said we wouldn't know what to do with Brock Lesnar.
No, right. So that's what he would become. He would become the Brock Lesnar where he could come in and win the title whenever the hell he wants. But yeah, he's gonna be a part-timer, and he's gonna show up when he wants, and he's gonna be a pull and a draw every single time. And I didn't know where you were going, but I thought the exact same thing. He's gonna be the next Brock Lesnar.
Yeah. That's it. You know what? I think we're gonna have two Brock. I think they're sizing Bobby up to be the next Brock Lesnar as well.
Because I think Brock Lesnar
not championship front like holding, but like dominance. Like I think they're shaping Bobby up to beat Brock at WrestleMania clean and just take his spot.
I do too. I think it's passing the torch. I think Brock Lesnar every year gets closer and closer to being done wrestling, like all together.
How old is he?
I don't think he's like even.
I think he's 45. I was gonna say he's like the same age as Cena.
Yeah.
Hey Google, how old is Brock Lesnar? Yeah. 45. He's 45.
Yeah.
I'm surprised yours didn't answer.
I know. I don't even think mine heard you that time. But yeah. So there's a lot going on heading into Survivor Series, and Monday Night Raw, crazy. You're talking about Finn Balor. Finn Balor loses his United States Championship opportunity.
Yeah, I thought
What a
I thought that was
crazy
weird.
match.
Huh?
What'd you say? What'd you say?
I said, yeah, I thought that was weird. What did you say?
I said it was a crazy match.
Yeah, I found it strange that Finn just like lost clean.
He didn't. There was a lot of interference. And Seth
Well,
Rollins, AJ hit him when everything was going on. The Judgment Day came out, interfered, and then Anderson and Gallows came out and took care of Dom and Priest. And then
oh, so like on the highlight, they didn't show that. See, like I'm in class. I'm in
yeah,
class until I don't
so
get home until
he didn't lose
what
clean.
was it?
Yeah, no.
Okay, yeah. I don't
So
get home until
yeah,
9 o'clock. So yeah, show's almost over by the time 9:15. What time do I get home?
show ends at
I
11.
don't remember. Yeah, I want to say maybe no. I don't get home until 10 o'clock. I'm sorry, I don't get home to 10 o'clock. So most of the show's over by the time I get home.
Oh yeah, but anyway, yeah. So there was a scrum with the Judgment Day and the OC, and then AJ wasn't anywhere to be found. I was like, huh, that's kind of weird. I was like, I feel like he's gonna hit Finn Balor because I feel like there's no way Finn's gonna lose clean. And I think Finn, I can't exactly remember what happened, but Finn was gonna do something to Seth, and then AJ hit him and knocked him on the ground, and Seth stomped him and then pinned him. So it wasn't a clean loss for Finn, but Seth retains his
Okay.
title anyway. We found out on Monday night who the fourth member of Team Bianca is at War Games, and it's Mia Yim, and that's very exciting. And the fifth member of Team Damage Control is Mommy, Rhea Ripley. So excited for that. And the fifth member of Team Bianca is yet to be unveiled. I think that'll get unveiled. This is kind of my special announcement, chat, that I want to talk about. I'm going to Monday Night Raw, and I hope we find out the fifth member of Team Bianca. And I am praying to the wrestling gods, not JBL and Baron Corbin, but the actual wrestling gods, that it is Becky Lynch that is the fifth member of Team Bianca. I want that to happen so bad. If I hear her song, I am going to lose my mind. I'm telling the guys I'm going with, when it gets to that point in the show and they're like kind of teasing who the fifth person is, you just need to start recording me, because if it's Becky Lynch, I'm losing my mind and I'm not getting that, I'm not going to have that not recorded. So I'm already planning that out. I plan to try to interview a couple people there about their wrestling fandom and post that. So we'll see how that goes, if I can get anybody to answer some questions. So that'll be cool. Going to Monday Night Raw. So we found out also that when I'm there, there's going to be a War Games advantage match between Asuka and Rhea Ripley. The winner gets the numbers advantage in War Games. So if you're watching and you don't know what a War Games match is, I'll tell you what it is. There's two rings put together with a cage around the outside of them. And I don't know what the time constraints are, but two people start in the ring, and then after a certain amount of time, one member of one team comes in, and then after that same amount of time, another comes in, and so on and so forth until everybody's in. And now, is the finish of a War Games elimination, or is it just the first fall?
It's the first fall.
That is fucking insane. Okay, I haven't watched a War Games match in a long time, and I kind of wondered.
At least that's how it was done. It was the first fall.
I was wondering with Survivor Series if that'll be different.
But they could change it because it's Survivor Series.
Right.
So
we'll see. They haven't mentioned anything about that, so we'll see how that is.
I'll look it up right now.
Yeah, okay. So the advantage match is whoever wins, whether it's Asuka or Rhea. If Asuka wins, Bianca's team will have the first member of their team come in first before Damage Control, giving them the numbers advantage throughout the entire match. I feel like it's 5 minutes. Someone else comes in. So that means if, Asuka wins and Bianca's team hypothetically wins, that first member on Bayley's team has to survive a whole 10 minutes until they get until they get a partner. And 5 of those minutes are 2-on-1. And that's going to be insane. And it's anything goes. There's always weapons. War Games matches are always
5
insane.
minutes.
It is 5 minutes. Okay, so I was right
No,
about
no.
that.
After 5 minutes, a member from the advantage team usually decides via coin toss will join their partner. This will give them temporary 2-on-1 handicap. After 3 minutes, a member from the opposing team will enter. That sounds stupid. Is this right rules? Go ahead and keep talking.
Why does that sound
Oh,
stupid?
here we go.
That is
Because
the
it
rule.
says at first it says 5, and then it says 2 minutes afterward.
That
Two
is
teams
weird.
Will be
Isn't that the Elimination Chamber the same way, where it's 5 and then every 2 minutes after that, a new person comes in?
I don't know. All right, I have the rules now. Official rules.
Here we go.
2 teams will be contained in separate cages with 1 member from each team starting the match. After 5 minutes, a member from the advantage team will be released to enter the match. After 3 minutes, a 3-minute period, the alternating members from each team will be enter the match until all competitors are inside the cage. So it's 5 minutes first, and then after 3 minutes. Once all competitors have entered, War Games officially begins.
Oh,
The
okay.
only way to win the match is by pinfall or submission. So it's just first fall.
But it's only first fall once everybody's in the match.
Correct.
So you cannot secure a fall until all the competitors have entered War Games.
Correct. As the Miz would say.
Correct. Dude, listen, I hate the Miz because I'm supposed to, but damn, the Miz is damn good.
He is. Who said it? Was it Edge? Was it AJ? You know what? It was both of them. They've said it. Like, the Miz is like the ultimate heel. He's so easy to hate. Everybody hates him. Not because he's boring, because you hate him.
Yes.
He is so good. Honestly, there should be more respect on his name. And
He's a heel. He won't get respect until 5-10 years after he retires and he's in the Hall of Fame. Then everybody's be like, "Oh, I love the Miz." That's how it always is. You know how it is. Like, I don't know where that accent came from.
The life of a heel.
That's like Randy Orton. Oh, it's not going to take that long. The minute Randy Orton leaves his boots, people tears. I'm going to get emotional when Randy Orton retires. And I have hated that man since I started watching wrestling. When he kicked John Cena's father, I almost vomited. I wanted to reach through the TV and choke Randy. I hated Randy Orton more than I hated Edge.
It's hilarious that we both hated it. When he punted Batista, I was like...
The punt was vicious, man!
And what? Let's talk about the Kofi incident. Stupid! Like, he just, like... And he was dead serious.
Oh, my God, yeah. No, I love Randy.
But, Randy's awesome. Hopefully he makes a return. Like, I would love... So
he's supposed to.
I want to throw this out real quick, and then we'll get back to the natural progression of the podcast. Zach called out a really good pitch that I think would blow the internet. I don't think Stone Cold should have a match. And when people hear this, they'll be like, "Oh yeah, I'll trade a match for this." One, because we were there, we don't want to see it. Also, because he had such a good ending last year. I think most people will respect that and don't want him to ruin it. Here's what the pitch is. Zach says, Roman versus The Rock, WrestleMania, night 1.
Yep.
Roman wins, or he doesn't win. Either way, let's say he wins. New Day's stomping a mutt hole and walking it dry on Rock, beating him up. Glass shatters. Stone Cold comes down.
You mean
Stone Cold?
Dude, you did it again.
Huh?
You just said the New Day was stomping into Austin.
I always do that. The Usos and Roman stomping a mutt hole into Rock. Glass shatters. Stone Cold comes running down. The Rock and Stone Cold clean house. Stone Cold hits a Luthez press, stomps a mud hole, stunners them. Rock bottom, people's elbow. Close night 1 out with The Rock and Stone Cold having a beer together. after they
That
just stopped it.
you want to talk about WrestleMania moments? That would rival WrestleMania 17.
That's what I'm saying. But then here we go. The only way you the first time a night 2 was actually tops a night 1.
I hope
Me and
so for your
Randy
face.
Orton in the main event of WrestleMania Night 2. The men's Money in the Bank ladder match starting the show off. And then you pull whatever and then a Gunther and Sheamus, a Gunther and Drew McIntyre match in the middle of the show.
So in the main event, you want Randy Orton versus Cody Rhodes.
Cody Rhodes taking the title, doing his daddy proud. We all get cheered up from the promo package that they delivered to us before about how he's going to do it for his dad. Then he comes down, the fireworks fire off. Cody Rhodes taking the WWE Championship and solidifying that he's the man of the company.
You want to talk about like emotional moments and feeling something. Like Cody Rhodes winning the title at WrestleMania 39, I would cry. I'm not going to lie, I would cry. Like,
so not only that, so this is what you need to do to make night 2 right. You can have whatever the hell you want on night 1. If you close night 1 out the way I just said it doesn't matter. Everybody's leaving thinking night 1's the best thing since sliced bread. Best WrestleMania night ever.
Would kick 38 right in the nuts.
Now, you put on night 2, John Cena versus whoever. John Cena versus whoever. Men's Money in the Bank ladder match. Cody Rhodes closing out the show. And then on both nights, you have Dave Bautista coming out, hitting the fireworks as he goes into the Hall of Fame.
Listen, that's not if he gets overshadowed.
Act like people wouldn't love it to see Dave Bautista come out and do his fireworks each night.
Oh, no. Okay, so that's the thing. It's like that he would get that kind of presentation like The Undertaker did. Like, he would be the headliner of the Hall of Fame. But the thing is, with this year, with Vince, it could happen this year, but at the same time, like, I get it. We're 6
months not to do it this year. I think you need to give that thing, like, his allegations some time to breathe. Well, and also, he deserves 40.
I was going to say also, like, the reports are nobody in the company, besides, Stephanie, because that's his daughter, but has heard from Vince since he's been gone.
Yeah. I don't think you should do it this year. I think you should give it some time to breathe. I get the urgency because, he's elderly. He stopped working. Usually they don't last long after they stop working. So, knock on wood. So I get the urgency. I think, let's be real here. Rumors have come out that they want to make this the most star-studded WrestleMania. Batista is a leading man in WrestleMania right now.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. A leading man in Hollywood.
Yes.
Dave Bautista's talked about as a great actor. Not just like people are like, Dave Bautista is becoming a household name outside the wrestling. Like people, sometimes they even forget that he wrestled. They're just like, he's just a great actor.
Yeah, it's been so long, people do forget.
Yeah. They're like, yeah, he's a great actor. They're like,
there are kids that only know him as Drax the Destroyer. People have no idea that he was the Animal Batista. Like kids.
I know. Like, it's wild. It's wild.
Isn't it?
He was the Animal Batista. For a generation, that was their... Like, for half of a generation, or whatever you want to call it, maybe for half of a generation, or 40% of a generation, whatever you want to call it, that was their guy.
No, I know. Like, listen, Raw or SmackDown,
and you
whatever.
Know notice about... You're right. You're about to say it. For most people, even if they were John Cena fans, they'll say, on SmackDown, Batista was my guy. People would say it.
Yeah, I mean, I was, Undertaker was my guy, but anyway. Undertaker and Ray were mine too. But anyway.
That's a fair, yeah.
Yeah, I still love Batista, but I was going to say, whether you were Raw or SmackDown, you're lying to yourself right now if you didn't slap the thigh and, like, hit the guns, like, and you thought fireworks were going behind you. Like, you're lying to yourself.
If you were shaking ropes like this, you're lying.
Yeah, no, that was, yeah. No, he's one of those guys, and he's going to be a headliner of WrestleMania for the Hall of Fame. His Headlining WrestleMania days.
He's like, yeah, he should go in this year as though, like, you know.
I said his headlining WrestleMania days are over, but that's horseshit. You're telling me right now, especially if we're in a 2-night format, if there's not a huge match going on, that Dave Bautista couldn't have one last match to main event WrestleMania?
I don't think he will.
I don't think he will, but I'm saying he could, because
he could, but
what
he doesn't want to. He's made it very clear that he doesn't want to wrestle anymore. There's nothing gonna tempt that man. He closed his career the way he wanted to with Triple H, and now that Triple H can't, to him, that's like, I don't know if there's any other way to describe it, but it's like, you know, the best way to put it is like, if you could end your career as a state wrestling champion, there's no better way. Why would you go back? You're like, oh, I won it. I don't want it. Nope, I'm not gonna sacrifice it. Like, I already went back. I did it. Why? He closed his career. He won his first championship. Triple H made him. He ended it. He gave the due back to Triple H. He bowed down. He gave his due back to Triple H, and he's happy. But could he? Hell yes. And I think this would be the appropriate time too, because when he did come back last time, it was a really bad time. Daniel Bryan was really hot at that time. There was nobody who could have came back and they wouldn't have done that. Like, you know, like they would have just like, so he came back at a rough time. Luckily, he was smart enough to not try to like be a heel. He turned to, be a face. He turned to heel. But right now would be a really good time for it. I think if he came back, he would get that same Brock Lesnar, Goldberg type reaction.
Yes. People. Oh my God, people would go nuts if unexpectedly Dave Bautista came out on like a random SmackDown. People would lose their fucking minds.
I'm like, I don't have to get this. What do you call those? What do you call
smelling salts?
Smelling salts or bath salts?
Smelling salt, not bath salts. Smelling salts.
It was smelling salt?
Yes.
It wasn't smelling salts, but not bath salts.
Bath salts will make you eat people.
I'd like, oh, what happened? Batista came out, hit this fireworks, shook the rope, and went back. Oh, I'd be so angry. I missed it.
Oh my God. But yeah, let's head to what happened last night. Friday Night SmackDown. Really good show.
Oh,
what?
I want to make a comment. I think, to me, you may feel different because you're a Raw guy, but I think SmackDown has been consistently better than Raw. Like, SmackDown to me each week has been just a great show.
I think the extra hour doesn't do Raw a lot of favors most of the time.
No, and that could be it. Like, I'm not taking that away and saying it's because that could just be that. Like, if we took that out, it may be on the same footing. But I think SmackDown consistently has been nailing it.
We're also
but it's hard not to.
We're also never. Well, that's what I was gonna say. We're also almost never getting Roman on Raw. Bray Wyatt is on SmackDown. LA Knight's
Cody's
on SmackDown.
hurt on Raw.
Like, that's the thing.
Cody, Randy, they're all hurt on Raw. So yeah, no, you got a valid point. Let me talk to you. Yeah, LA Knight and Bray Wyatt. I'm living for it right now. I'm living for it. LA Knight. No, I'm not. We're ducking out. What do you hang around after you're done working? What are you, some weirdo? He's like, I'm done working. I'm going home. Like, what are you?
Yeah, like
LA Knight. That's what I said. LA Knight's he's gonna profit from this so much because he's gonna get to show off how good his mic skills are.
Yes.
What made us love LA Knight? He's gonna show us what made us love him. And I almost feel like, have you realized that you haven't really heard a lot of the, or the like?
You hear it. You hear it now and again,
he's
but yeah.
teasing it.
Yes.
I feel like he's working his way up to it.
Yeah.
And so, like, I'm really excited for it. So, like, I think this is so good. Like, it's so good. Bray's like, all right, just shake my hand. It's over. All right. And then he punches him in the face. He said, 2-for-1 special. I love LA Knight. Like, I love the whole, let me talk to you. I say that all the time now. Like,
yeah.
This is such a good feud. And LA Knight, all he has to do for him to benefit from this match is go out there and get a couple hits in. That's all he needs to do. to look like for a second he's gained the upper hand, and after that he can get destroyed.
Yeah.
And then he has benefited from this match. He has benefited tenfold. This is great. Like this is
It is. It's. I think it's really what everyone has been looking for. LA Knight and Bray Wyatt. We've been clamoring for LA Knight for months on months on months now. It's a perfect way for both of them to get started with their returns to WWE. They're two of the most interesting people on the roster right now. And the mid card, the mid card on SmackDown's a lot better than it is on Raw right now. Like right now we got Riddle palling around with Elias, dressing like Ezekiel, losing to Chad Gable. Like, it's just, I don't know, man.
Chad Gable.
Yeah, like whatever.
I like Chad. I like Chad a lot.
I like Chad Gable too, and it's nothing against Chad Gable, but like, it's Bray Wyatt and LA Knight. Nothing against Riddle, but it's Bray Wyatt and LA Knight.
Well, that too, and then look after that. You got the Imperium. Then you have the World Cup, and you have Imperium versus the New Day and Braun Strowman, and then you have the whole build-up that we're eventually going to get Braun and Gunther. Like, the mid-card is so good right now.
It's amazing. Yeah.
But the women's scene is better on Raw than it is on SmackDown.
Very much so, and that's an injury thing as well.
Yes.
And that's, and that will get better. Charlotte will come back, and that will help out a lot. She's going to be on SmackDown. We pray that Mercedes comes back. But she put in new trademarks, so Sasha Banks will no longer be a thing.
Yeah. You know what I want to say before I lead into... you had mentioned... What did you mention? The mid-card and the women's scene. Before we get into that, I do want to mention, before we leave LA Knight, you know what I thought about? LA Knight has to be a presence on WrestleMania. It's in his name, LA.
Oh,
they're in LA. How about this? LA's out there for night 2 because you gotta get Rock and Austin on both nights. So at least you gotta, if not a Rock on another night because he's had a match, you at least gotta get Stone Cold on both nights because he's not have a match. LA's out there running his mouth. Who better than the original? Because LA Knight, LA Knight's, I don't want to say he's a ripoff, but like he's an adaptation. He's a beautifully done adaptation of Stone Cold Steve Austin. That's what he is.
Yeah.
Comes out. LA Knight's out there running his mouth talking about, let me talk to you. We're in my hometown, da-da-da, da-da-da. And Stone Cold comes in, ba-ba-ba. Goes out, leaves us happy. Because, you got to have Stone Cold on both nights. Now I think about this, how do you not have The Rock and Stone Cold on both nights? That's another thing that they're probably talking about. That's probably an issue. It's like you can't just have The Rock on one night and not the other. But I don't know. But we'll go. Unless you want to make a comment on that, we can go back to what we were talking about.
Yeah, no, I'm good on that.
All right. So you talked about injuries. I don't know. This might get you fired up. I don't know. But so Natalya's injured and Shayna Baszler did it, and I'm just like,
Broke her nose, yeah.
Where have I heard this before?
From me. Yeah, no, I don't know. Like, I at least like Shayna now. I like her character. I find her more interesting now. But the fact that she keeps injuring people is not good. Like, okay, yeah, she injured Lana, and I don't know if she injured Eva Marie or actually or not, but God, is it fucked up to say I hope she did? Anyway, Shayna Baszler's got some shit to figure out, and I think that's why she's with Ronda, to try to figure some shit out. I think that's helping her, but I don't know. There isn't much to talk about Shayna Baszler. Like, she's dominant in the ring because of her character, but okay, am I gonna care about her as a women's champion? I care about her less than I cared about Liv Morgan as a women's champion.
That's saying something.
I don't feel like it's that crazy though.
I heard a hot take on Ronda recently. That
Ronda's
Ronda was
full of hot
that
takes.
Ron that Ronda was better when she first came in, and before she started to be Ronda was better before she was like a full time like legit WWE superstar. Like when she came in and she like there wasn't. It's kind of like you know how when you come back out for injury, you're hot, you're like, oh, I'm good, you're really good, and then after a
Yeah,
while you start to fizzle out because the more expectations come on you.
yeah.
Ronda was better before people started to expect more of her. They said that it was equivalent to like the Logan Paul and man, expectations are usually low for them, and then they go out there and they steal the show. And there's also because expectations are low, they have less stress on them, and less they don't feel like they have to be as technically as sound. And now they say that Ronda at this point now feels like she has to be more technically sound, so that takes away from her actual matches
Yeah, I mean,
and her character wise too.
I guess I could see it. It's either that or maybe just she was just never that good, and it's just got exposed the more we've seen her. You know what I
Could be
mean?
that
Like it's
too.
easier to get away with things when we don't see you as often, and your highs are really high. You know what I mean?
I argue that though, because I think about her match at WrestleMania, like with Triple H and Stephanie, she looked phenomenal. And then her match with Charlotte at Survivor Series, she was phenomenal. Her match with I mean, you can't really say much because it's hard to have a bad match with Charlotte. And then her match with Bianca, it's hard to have a bad match with Bianca. So it's like, you can't. But I mean, she was in there with Stephanie McMahon looking good, and she was in there with Triple H looking good.
I think a lot of people are over the Ronda Rousey experience at this point, and I can't say that I blame them. I don't. After she won the Royal Rumble and had her WrestleMania run and lost to Charlotte the way she did, I have not cared a single ounce about Ronda Rousey.
I had felt this way before, like when she came, I just didn't think she was the same as she was before she left.
I agree with that as well. I think you're right. She was better before. But yeah, I don't know.
She had a baby though, so I was like, oh, maybe she'll eventually knock that off. Like she had a baby, it's hard to come back.
Well, not for Becky Lynch.
Yeah, Becky came back solid. Well, I mean,
Becky
our only
arguably came
complaint,
back better.
yeah, yes, she did. Our only complaint about Becky was that we thought she made a lost too much weight.
Yeah, she
She gotta be,
definitely initially overcompensated. But I mean,
yeah,
talking about great comebacks from pregnancy, holy shit. She had two of the best women's WrestleMania matches of all time with Bianca Belair. Three of the best of all time are Bianca Belair, by the way, in my opinion.
best wrestling matches, best
Women's,
women's
yeah.
matches.
Sasha and Becky
Okay,
twice, yeah.
yeah, yeah. No, well, you had said three, so I was like, well, she's only had two WrestleMania matches, so I was like, well,
Oh, yeah.
but
What?
you're talking about the two with Becky, the one at SummerSlam this year,
That's
in the
what I was
WrestleMania
thinking
match.
of, yeah.
So you're saying she's had three of the best women's matches of all time, which okay, that I yeah, they were solid. That yeah, both WrestleMania matches were ridiculous. And not to mention, I still to this day like I love Becky's WrestleMania entrance.
Oh, it's always good. She's gonna be one of those ones that like just every year has a really creative, really fun entrance. Coming out in the SUV and then the smoke and she's holding the title. That was great. And of
Excuse
course,
me. Well, how about the whole like Marvel thing of just Becky?
that was the one thing I didn't get on camera. I'm really upset about because that was so cool. It was like you're right. It was exactly like how Marvel does it, but it just shows big time Bex. I was like,
Yeah.
that was so freaking cool. And then she comes out in like the superstar SUV with the smoke, and she's holding the title. Everybody's singing her song. Oh, it was so cool. Like, oh. You can't say
Ugh.
enough good things about Becky Lynch. You really can't. You really cannot say enough good things about her. And that's why, Teddy, if she shows up on Monday, I cannot tell you how psyched I'll be.
So this is how I hope the match ends. I hope Bayley's team wins with Rhea Ripley pinning Sasha Banks. I mean, Bianca Belair. Bianca Belair. Jesus. Can I get any name right? Can I get any? I sound like Joe Biden up here.
Byron.
Can I get...
No,
anyway.
No, I think it would be very important for Bayley to pin her because now that's the only 2 times Bianca has been pinned in the last since she's been champion has been Bayley. If that happens.
Did I say Bayley? I thought I said Rhea Ripley.
Oh, you did say Rhea. We're all fucked up. We're all fucked up over here. We don't know who's who. Rhea's Bayley. The Usos are the New Day. Nobody is who they are. We are having a very serious identity crisis.
Kenny's over here going, "What? I thought it was 2004." And Shake's going, "What? I thought we were in 1998." Oh.
What?
What? That's not even funny. But let's cut to let's go back to SmackDown. Here's a hot take. Not a hot take. I don't know. I like this Braun and Gunther tension.
Yes.
But I want to see Gunther win without Imperium interfering, or maybe a small interference. But like, I don't want to see Braun come in and win. I don't want to see Braun win. And like, especially because now that they've made Gunther look scared of him, which was a weird take to me. It was a weird take to me, but I understand it. But like, now you need to make Gunther win.
Well, yeah, I think
you have to have him win.
I don't think
and I think that's a solid first loss for Roman. I think Strowman needs to lose. I think he needs a loss so that we can kind of like say, oh, okay, as soon as Braun loses, we can start slotting him into other type of matches and with other people. And I think a loss to Gunther is a fair one.
I agree, especially with Imperium involved, and Imperium has to be involved. But I think Gunther looking scared of Braun makes sense because Braun is bigger than Gunther. Like he was,
and like when you see the picture, he was like pretty much he was big. He was like he looked a lot more jacked, which was my fear. I told you a while ago about Gunther getting into really good shape. Was that like all right? So Sheamus, he didn't look that much smaller than, and he maybe even Drew, he won't look that much smaller than, but Braun, my God, like you're like ooh, it looks like a basketball player versus a wrestler. It's like it's like.
Well, I mean, to be fair, Braun Strowman's a monster and he's built that way. But like, I think Gunther will win. I don't think Braun Strowman is ripe for an Intercontinental Championship run right now. Like, he beat Omos, but Omos is doing nothing but beating up jobbers. Like, who fucking cares if you beat Omos? Like, he's a giant. Like, that was a good match. It's sad to say because that really was a good match and I enjoyed it. But, like, I don't care about Omos and I don't think there's many things you could do. Unless he
Have we seen Omos since?
No, I think the only thing you could do now is keep him with MVP and have them restart the Hurt Business.
With Omos instead.
Could you imagine the Hurt Business with Omos? And throw Shelton Benjamin in there because, like, I love Shell. And Dominic Mysterio just said fuck you to Shelton Benjamin on Monday.
Dominic Mysterio was on a roll. He beat AJ Styles. Oh my God! Let's go back to that. I sent you that post the other day. AJ Styles hasn't won a pay-per-view match since Crown Jewel in 2019.
Correct. Poor AJ.
And I don't know when's the last time he really won a regular match on Raw. When's the last time he won that?
I can't. Off the top of my head right now, I couldn't tell you.
He's a glorified jobber right now. He's like your top jobber. Like, he loses, but he still has... He's been so good over the years that he has so much respect to his name.
And I said to you, having the OC back is going to help him a lot. And not even with wins or losses, but it's going to make the wins and losses matter less because now we're not looking at him to win things and go on runs. Like, we're just looking to be entertained by the OC, and since they've been back, we have been nothing but entertained.
True that, brother. True that. All right, so Shotzi, who really cares about Shotzi
Couldn't give a damn.
And what's her name? Ronda Rousey. No one cares. You're right. No one cares. All right, let's get into our petty rant real quick.
Here we go.
But I don't know what's even a rant. I have felt for some time that WrestleMania 19 is overrated.
I will let you know I'm approaching WrestleMania 19 in my rewatch.
It's been classified as the second best WrestleMania, or arguably the second best WrestleMania of all time, behind 17. And I think the third best WrestleMania clocks in around like WrestleMania 24 or something like that. Clocks in like, some people classify 24 as like the third best or something like that. Or in that area, 24. It's either like 24, 20, or 30 they classify as like the third. It's one of those three.
I feel like generally 22 was better, and I also felt like 18 was better. 18 wasn't better than 24, but 22 was better than 24, I thought.
I think that... So I also feel that way, but the general public doesn't. But also...
I think Ric Flair is the reason why. I'm biased
because WrestleMania 22 is the first WrestleMania I watched live.
Well,
so I'm biased.
The first WrestleMania I watched live was WrestleMania 24.
All right, well, there you go. Let me ask you a question. Why do you feel 22 is better? Is it because John Cena and Triple H for the first time?
I thought it was the passing of the torch to a next generation, and I thought the card up and down performed better than 24.
So I won't say... 21 was the passing of the torch.
Well, yeah, I know what you mean, but like it was Cena's first WrestleMania as champion. I guess is more what I meant.
So when I ask, no lie, so I've always thought 22 was better, and I always thought it was really good. But a lot of people think it was just okay.
I think they're full of shit.
Well, I think we're biased. It was my first live. So for me, it was my first live for WrestleMania, and for you, it was John Cena's first as champion. So I think we're biased.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, but like, what besides Ric Flair's retirement match, which is fucking horseshit now. It's not, but it is.
Great Money in the Bank. Great show started with Finn, with
JBL and Finlay.
Sorry, with JBL and Finlay. Great Money in the Bank.
I have a funny story about that match, and I was thinking about it. I was watching that with my stepmom, and she goes, "You know all this stuff is fake, right?" Meanwhile, JBL, as she says it, as the words are coming out of her mouth, JBL suicide dives out of the ring, and Finlay hits him in the face with a baking sheet. I'm like, what was fake about that? Oh, was it the other way around?
Yeah.
Either way,
JBL ain't suicide diving nothing.
All right, whatever. But like, I was like, oh, what the hell was fake about that? Like, it made me so happy. Like, the second it came out of her mouth, suicide dive into a baking sheet. I was like, oh yeah, that looked pretty fake to me.
You can't fake that.
I was like, that looked pretty fake to me. He jumped 7 feet in the air into a baking sheet that wasn't just held there. JBL swung like a fucking bat.
Because JBL doesn't hold back on nothing.
No.
So, like, yeah.
Would have been pissed if he did, but...
Great Money. We had Undertaker and Edge. We had Randy Orton, John Cena, Triple H. We had, like, all right, the only downsides to that pay-per-view, and it's going to pain me to say, but the only downsides to that pay-per-view were the Kane choke-slamming Chavo Guerrero match, but that was so quick that it wasn't even a blip. It was like, oh, good, well, at least we got that out of the way.
I thought that was hilarious because I hated Chavo. I enjoyed that.
And then Batista versus Umaga, which was just okay. Wasn't bad. It was just there.
Yeah, I don't know. 22, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, John Cena versus Triple H. Oh.
I will always... all I'm saying is I'm speaking from the master. You won't get any arguments from me. I loved 22. It was the first one I watched live. I was into... I also go back, and I don't think that was a great match. John Cena versus Triple H, but I was into it. Live, I was into it. I was into it like nobody's business. Why? Because tribalism. I was rooting for Triple H. I was like,
Yeah.
if John Cena lose, that means Batista's better than Triple H, than better than John Cena. I'm here for it. But I was into it. But the Money in the Bank was great. I thought Shawn Michaels versus Vince McMahon was great. I even thought Undertaker versus Mark Henry was great, but a lot of people didn't like that match. I thought it was great. And then you can't, come on now. We had Edge and Mick Foley and probably the greatest hardcore match of all time.
Oh my God, yes.
But realistically, excuse me.
Did you think the triple threat between Cena, Triple H, and Orton was better than Cena and Triple H?
Oh, hands down. Hands down. I really don't think that Triple H and John Cena match was good at all.
So that's probably what people put 24 over 22 for.
That, and I think that and a number of when you go back and watch 22, best part about WrestleMania 22 literally was Edge and Mick Foley. And then if you go back into the other matches, if you look back at it now, in a match that I highly think is underrated, Kurt Angle, Randy Orton, and Rey Mysterio is a match that is highly underrated, in my opinion.
Oh my God! Yeah, the payoff of that year. Oh my God! Yeah. I forgot about that. That's why.
I honestly think the best.
That truly, Teddy, that is why I'm biased to WrestleMania 22, because Rey Mysterio finally won the world title. That's why.
That too, the ultimate underdog story. So
that's why.
To me, the best matches on that show were Edge and Mick Foley, and then Kurt Angle, Randy Orton, and Rey Mysterio were the best two matches on that mat card to me. And then Shawn Michaels also had a great match. I think those three matches were the best matches on that card. But other than that, the show started off with Big Show and Kane versus Carlito and Chris Masters. A snore fest, but I love Big Show and Kane, so I was here for it. Then we went to the Money in the Bank, which was a good match. But look who was in it. Ric Flair, Bobby Lashley, and Finlay from the SmackDown side. Part of the match was Bobby Lashley pretending to be afraid of heights. Ric Flair got suplexed and screamed, "Oh my God!" and walked away and was out of the match for 10 minutes. Finlay hit somebody with a shillelagh, and that's all you remember about him in the match. You honestly could forget he was in the match.
I did forget he was in the match.
Yeah, exactly. That Hardy dropped the leg drop, and the only thing's memorable from that match: Shelton Benjamin running up the ladder, then jumping overboard. Matt Hardy dropping a leg drop. RVD frog splashing, but really wasn't a frog splash because he just went like this and dropped down, and him winning. There was only 5 memorable parts, and one of them was Ric Flair screaming that you thought he broke his back again.
Yeah.
So after that,
the payoff of RVD was big too.
Huh?
The payoff of RVD winning the Money in the Bank was big.
That was another payoff. Yeah, that was a good one. And then let's go to this part. Booker T versus the Boogeyman.
I love the Boogeyman.
He kissed Queen Charnel. He kissed Queen Charnel with the worms in his mouth.
I love the Boogeyman.
There was a Playboy Bunny match, I think.
Oh, shit, there was.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what else was on that card. There was other matches on that card that I just don't remember.
Yeah. So maybe 24 was better. I don't know. I'll watch it. I'm going to watch it again. So.
Don't get me wrong. 24 could honestly, to me, if you ask me, and you, 22 will always be better than 24. But what I've gathered when you talk to other people is 22 was an okay WrestleMania. It was people place it as it was an okay WrestleMania. People place 24 as for some reason they place it as one of the greats. And I think because the only thing you can say negatively about WrestleMania 24, I think 24, part of me is biased. The payouts were bigger. As you say, the payouts were bigger. RVD won Money in the Bank. Undertaker continued the streak. Yeah. Shawn Michaels shut up Vince McMahon. John Cena put new school over old school. Rey Mysterio was the ultimate underdog of all time. Payouts were big. WrestleMania 24 matches were just generally performed better. The Money in the Bank was better. Finlay and JBL. The worst match on the card. The worst two matches on the card was a Dave Bautista and Umaga match, which was two big guys fighting each other. It wasn't really bad. wasn't a bad match. It was just okay. It was good. It was okay. It wasn't like something that was so bad that you wanted to do a bathroom break.
Well, it was Batista and Umaga. It could have only been so bad.
Exactly.
It could have only been so bad.
And the only reason it was bad is because I heard the rumors was they felt like they weren't given enough time or enough respect, so they just said, whatever, we'll just go out here and do our job.
Here's my hot take, and it goes to a point you've made in the past. Edge and Undertaker was just okay. If I didn't love The Undertaker, I remember watching it. That match was very boring. I didn't like it that much.
I thought the match was good, and that's it. I don't think it was better than Batista and Undertaker to me.
I definitely was not.
People seem to place it over Batista and Undertaker.
There's some rose-colored glasses around Edge WrestleMania matches, and you've said that before. People just love Edge WrestleMania matches, and neither you or I care that much for them, except for 22 or the TLC.
Yeah, I always wondered why people liked that match over Batista's, and I was like, come on now, Batista and then Taker tore it down. Taker says he likes that match more than his match with Edge, and part of me thinks it's because maybe because Batista was like, yeah, you're gonna tombstone me once and the match is over. I'm not kicking out of your tombstone. Where Edge kicked out of a tombstone, maybe, and then we had the long ref rundown. I think matches that don't, for some reason, Edge, Batista and Undertaker, I think was the perfect amount of time. It was 16 minutes. It's one of those matches where you can watch it back. To me, if a match is over 20 minutes, if a match is 20 minutes, it has a really hard. I have a really hard time watching 20-minute matches back after I already know who's going to win. I don't really enjoy watching them again after I already know who's going to win, no matter how quickly. 16 minutes, I think, is the perfect amount of time.
Yeah.
For me, with so I don't get it, but people really are fond of that match and they hold it to high regard. I don't understand why, but maybe we're the minority. Maybe we really are the minority. I know I'm generally the minority in wrestling, but I'm the minority in a lot of things, and so
listen, I thought Ric Flair and Shawn Michaels was the best match on that card.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think. I loved, and you know me, at this time in my life, I'm a hard Batista fan, not so hard of a John Cena fan at this time in my life. Well, that's obvious. I've always been a hard Batista, but John Cena's not my dude. But John Cena, Randy Orton, and Triple H, to me, that was oh my god, this match is amazing. This is
yes.
The song was great, which brings me to another topic. We need to start getting some good WrestleMania songs back. We haven't had a good one in a while.
Well, the pay-per-view songs have been getting better, in my opinion. So.
They have been, have they not? They have been getting better. I don't know what it. Part of what makes a WrestleMania a legendary WrestleMania is the song.
Yes.
And WrestleMania 24 had a great WrestleMania 22 and 24 both have great songs.
Yeah. There's not too many that don't have.
Red Hot Chili Peppers WrestleMania 24, still love that song. Shine Down for WrestleMania 22, still gives me chills. WrestleMania 18, Limp Bizkit. WrestleMania 19, Limp Bizkit. WrestleMania 17, Limp Bizkit. WrestleMania 31, Saliva. WrestleMania 23. Excuse me, got my numbers messed up. WrestleMania 23, Saliva. You don't remember that song, do you?
No, I remember Saliva. Yeah.
Yeah, so that song, I don't remember what song it was, but WrestleMania 23 had a great one. 21 was decent. 21's WrestleMania song was decent. But I mean, you got to get back to good WrestleMania songs. 2 years in a row, we had The Weeknd. And The Weeknd is not a get hyped type of artist.
No.
He's not a get hyped type of artist. The Weeknd is my girlfriend broke up with me, I'm going to listen to his music type of artist.
Yeah.
That's what The Weeknd is.
It's not really the vibe you look for.
The Weeknd is either my girlfriend broke up with me and I'm gonna get, I'm upset type of artist, or I'm gonna get high and chill in the house type of artist. That's what he is.
Yeah, it's not what you look for, and I think it'll be fine. WWE has been really stepping up their music game, but this Survivor Series pay-per-view, I think, literally will be the best one in over A decade.
Yeah. Let's I'm hoping WWE keeps it up. Like I said, like they're doing good and I'm happy with it. To close off my topic of, I also, like I said, I just think WrestleMania 19 was overrated. I do see why it actually gets a lot of hype because the final act of that pay per view was solid. You went from Triple H, Booker T to McMahon, Hogan to Rock Austin to Kurt Rock.
Yeah, I feel like 19
I
gets a
did
lot
not
of
like,
hate.
huh?
19 gets a lot of hate, I feel like.
I've heard from a lot of people when I wrote, and even when you watch the WWE podcasts on like YouTube, they all put 19 at high regard, like as a number two. But I think that's like their generation, like those people who are like, me, like I also, this might be a hot take. I think the whole first part of that show sucked, and I also did not like Shawn and Jericho.
Listen, I've never been a huge Jericho fan. Like, I get it. He's good in the ring.
Oh, you really? I have as of recently, but his old stuff I didn't like. But you really don't like Jericho.
Never have. Like, I never even liked him as a heel. Like, I don't know. Like, I've never been a big Oh, shoot. What do you need to know for this Monday? So, yeah, someone in chat, buddy, I'm going with to Monday Night Raw. While we're talking about War Games, it's the last Monday Night Raw before Survivor Series War Games. And we mentioned earlier we are getting an advantage match. Asuka versus Rhea Ripley. Winning team gets the numbers advantage in the War Games match.
I wonder who's going to win that.
I'm not going to lie to you, Teddy. I don't know who's going to win that because I could see Rhea winning, but at the same time, I could see Asuka pulling out a victory over Rhea Ripley.
I can't see Asuka beating Rhea. Rhea, if Roman and the Bloodline are white hot, I'm going to go on the line and say Rhea's blue hot. If that even made sense, but she's hot right now.
Listen, I just think it's a damn treat that on a Monday night in Albany, New York, we get to watch Asuka versus Rhea Ripley.
We get to watch a WrestleMania rewind match, as they used to call back in the day. Remember those? They did a WrestleMania rematch. You got WrestleMania rewind.
That's what
they would call it.
Yeah, I mean, what else is there's supposed to be? Let's see. A fatal.
Do you remember? Wait, Shake. Do you remember that one Raw where we were supposed to get a WrestleMania rewind and they promoted Batista versus Triple H, and then at the last minute they changed it and had them team up?
No.
I'll never forget. I was like, oh my god, we're doing this on a Raw. I was like, this is a huge match. I didn't have a Batista versus Triple H match. They're both hot right now, and then they were like, yeah. Instead, we're going to have Batista, Triple H, and Ric Flair team up against Randy and Legacy. They were like, that makes sense.
Yeah, it didn't make no damn sense. But also on Monday, we're getting a fatal four-way for the United States Championship.
No.
Bobby Lashley, Riddle, Seth Rollins, and it's either Theory or Mustafa Ali. I can't remember. But yeah, we're getting a fatal four-way for the United States title, I'm pretty sure.
What do you think of Theory's new turn? I like it.
I like it. I think he's more interesting now than he has been. And dude, the Fatal 4-Way is going to be insane for the United States Championship. But I think Theory has been way more interesting than he has been in a long, long time. And again, poor Dolph Ziggler selling himself out of the show.
I love how he showed up just to lose, and now we won't see him again for a while.
That's exactly what's going to happen. Fuck Dolph Ziggler. I heard Bobby Roode's supposed to come back at some point. I'm sorry, that was mean.
You weren't watching at the time when he first came back, were you?
No.
In NXT, his entrances are a spectacle.
No, I know. I actually recently on TikTok saw his main roster debut.
Oh, that's nothing. They toned it down because Vince was in charge. His NXT TakeOver entrances are some of the best entrances I've seen in my life.
Wow.
Like, they're so good. Like, there's one of they're singing glorious, glorious. It's like an
No
orchestra,
giving,
and then
no
you see him with the
giving.
robe, and he's walking up the stairs, and he's got the robe, and he stands up, and he's like, like it's the buildup is so good. Like his interests are top notch.
Yeah, I like Bobby Roode, but yeah, I don't know what else. We'll probably see the Usos and Sami Zayn on Monday as well, because they've been hopping back
Yeah.
and forth because they are the unified tag team champions. I don't
They're the
know that they'll be
longest.
in a match, but
They're the longest, and I'm gonna say this just to get you going, Shane. They're the longest and the best tag team of all time.
you had to throw best in there, you son of a bitch. Listen, they're just not the best
I
tag team. of all
forewarned you
time.
that I was gonna say it to just get you going.
I thought you were just gonna say longest reigning to get me going because that was enough. But like, oh my god, best. Oh no, no, God, I don't think there's been a more realistic promo ever than Xavier Woods cut on the Usos most recently. It's like, I was in catering worried about getting fired. Meanwhile, you're getting chance after chance after chance after chance. And I have to build a
And that's-
following on YouTube so I don't get fired so the fans cheer me when they see me. And you're like DUI after DUI, fucking Jimmy.
And that's why the New Day is the best tag team of all time.
Yes, I agree. If Jeff Hardy returns on Monday, I will sprout wings and fly on Tuesday.
Listen, hey, I'll I'll take those odds because there's a small chance of hell that Jeff Hardy returns on Monday.
Listen, if it happened, I'd freak out. Jeff Hardy, I don't know when his contract with AEW is up, but honestly, now that Vince is gone, the Hardys coming back to WWE in some facet. I'm not saying competing again, but it could.
I don't believe they will. I mean, they got it good over there in AEW.
I mean, they
why would they
doing the indie stuff is the big deal, I think.
Yeah, like I don't see why they would come back. Like, let's be real.
I don't mean like for any type of run.
What
but
would
like,
happen if they came back? They would be jobbers.
right. Have appearances.
Yeah.
Sell tickets.
Yeah,
Be the Hardy Boys. That's what they do now.
true. All right, I got a topic that's kind of been. I seen this, and it's someone else brought it up. I seen a YouTuber mention that he wants to see the New Day versus the Usos versus the Street Profits at WrestleMania in a ladder match. I'd say throw Kevin Owens and them in there as well.
Wait a goddamn second. Where are the Street Profits, by the way?
Montez Ford, his foot is like broken, I think.
I know, but we were still seeing them on TV, but now it's just stopped.
I think Montez probably took time to heal, and
Oh, they're doing a show,
It
too.
doesn't make sense because I know Montez and Bianca have a show, but
Yeah.
Bianca's still on TV, so I don't know.
Well, she's the women's champion.
This team needs a break. They need to hold a tag team. They need to hold the tag team championship. They
So,
need a break.
I think the time away does them good. Like, it kind of lets
Yeah.
us forget about the weird losses they've been taking. Because I thought they should have beat
Yeah.
the Usos months ago.
They really should have, and it's sad because let's be real. Someone brought this up, and I thought it was a good point, and it was like, but it wasn't to me. I'm gonna tell you why I didn't think it was a good point. They said Usos longest reigning tag team champions of all time, and a tag division that has two teams, and it was like, and I was like, all right, here's my argument. There's 3 legitimate tag teams in this division. Let's say 4, if you want to call the Viking Raiders. But the rest are not legitimate teams. Teams have come, like even Riddle and Orton aren't legitimate teams.
They're
But-
not getting back together. RK Bro is dead.
But when the Hardys, Christian, and the Dudleys were around, there was only no more than 4 legitimate teams. It was just those 3.
No, yeah, it was just those 3 in that time. Yeah, absolutely.
So
And then-
yeah, it was just those 3, and then you could have Bradshaw and Ron Simmons.
Yeah, APA. But like,
APA.
but at that time when it was the big 3 of the Dudleys, Hardys, and Edge and Christian, the APA weren't the APA anymore. They weren't the same. You know what I mean? Like JBL was like they were doing side things at that point. They were mid card.
They had always They had always been doing side things though. When they came in, they were like they started out just having poker games in the back, and then they just became like a real tag team kind of thing.
Right, yeah, but like I wouldn't consider them like
I think
a
they beat
legit.
the Dudley Boys at one time for the championship.
Yeah, I'm sure they did because things happened in the course of years. But yeah, I don't
But
know.
I see your point. Yeah. There's only really 3 teams floating around,
Right.
so there's no argument there. There's no argument there that other than there was also the only argument you could make. His better argument should have been, well, there was only there if there wasn't 2 titles floating around, then they wouldn't have been. But even then, they probably still would have been because they were attached to Roman.
Well, yeah, right. But if they weren't, no, yeah. If there was one title,
as
they
I
still.
like to say, as I like to say, the biggest feat they had proves that Roman is the reason that they're still champions. Jimmy Uso would have been suspended for his DUI.
Well, here's the other thing. If you want to look at it from a kayfabe perspective, of course the Usos are still champions. You saw the fear of God Roman Reigns put into the heart of Jey Uso in that I Quit match. He broke him as a man and said, "You're mine now. And if you fuck up, this is going to happen again. And again."
You know what's funny? I would fully accept Jey Uso being inducted into the Hall of Fame by himself.
It won't happen, but I would too. It never will happen. They're
because
going
then
to
it just
be
looks
the Usos.
weird. Because you can't put Jey in there by himself without Jimmy.
Correct.
And not put Jimmy. Imagine Jey's a 2-time Hall of Famer for the Usos and just Jimmy. And then Jey's just like, I'm just here a one-timer.
You can't do that because Jey isn't accomplished enough as a singles competitor. Like, he could have been.
Anything.
He could have been, but he was in a tag team. I think he showed when Jimmy was gone that he could have been singles competitor.
Well, let's also put it for the better part of 2 years. Jey has been in the top 5 of the best characters in the WWE consistently for the past 5.
That's what I'm saying.
In the past years, he's been consistently in the top 5 of the best characters on the entire WWE roster.
I agree. I think, like I said, I think he could have been, but he is not because he chose to stick with Jimmy.
No, Jimmy. Jay's partner, Jimmy. The best I've ever heard it was Jimmy is Jay's partner.
Jimmy is Jey Uso's tag team partner. Yes, he is. Yep. Yep. You're goddamn right. But no, I think, we're heading into a very exciting pay-per-view, and then after that, nothing matters until we hit the Royal Rumble. And, like...
Oh, did you see that fake Royal Rumble card? The fake Royal Rumble...
The leak? Yeah. I was gonna bring that up. Yeah, so it's perfect you did. So, those of you that didn't know, there was a leaked Royal Rumble results card, and, a name Matt Cardona showed up and people were freaking out about that. And people were also freaking out about that it said Cody Rhodes was going to win the Royal Rumble. And let's be honest, whether that was leaked or not, I still think that's going to happen.
You know what I laughed at?
He's the boy wonder.
You know when I realized that was fake? I looked at, who was it? It was somebody ridiculous eliminating Braun Strowman. Like, it was either like an Ali, a Gable. It was either like an Ali or Chad Gable or Ricochet. One of them were eliminating Braun Strowman, and I was like, well, that's not happening.
Yeah, it was weird. It also had... the ending was kind of cool. It had Cody Rhodes eliminating Brock Lesnar, who came in at 30. Like, that would have been dope. Cody coming in at, 22, battling for a while, and then Lesnar comes out at 30. Everybody thinks, oh, shit, how the hell is he possibly going to beat Brock Lesnar? And then he does it.
That would have been dope. And then we had Randy Orton in there.
Oh, my God, yeah. I think, listen, if... we don't get Roman and Cody because we get Roman and Rock, which is fine. I want a Cody and Randy at WrestleMania.
So you want to hear my pitch? Like I said, night 2, Randy versus Cody. Randy wins the WWE title in the Elimination Chamber.
and then Cody Rhodes beats Randy Orton for the WWE Championship?
I mean, would you have it any other way?
No. That we're talking about dream bookings.
Randy becoming a 15-time champion.
Which,
Randy becoming a
yes,
make everybody happy in the world. Randy Orton, and like, all right, great. Like, you know, everybody says we got to build up. We got to have someone special beat him. That's true, but there's the only person you could have that is not someone you would want to build up that you could beat and still get cheers would be Randy Orton.
Yeah, I think that's a very easy sell, having Randy Orton to beat Roman. I think no one would bat an eye at that. But, yeah, you know, I think, did you have anything else you wanted to talk about?
No, yeah, we've been going for a while, haven't we?
Yeah, we're at like an hour and a half. That's what I was saying. We're get to our final thoughts here.
No, like I said, I think quote me on my WrestleMania card because if it happens, I'm winning money in Vegas.
You got to bet on it first. But anyway, no, very exciting. So here's the plan for Hot Tag for this next week, right? I'm going to be at Monday Night Raw on Monday. I'm getting some content there. I don't know what it'll be yet, but it's going to happen. It's going to be there. Make sure you keep it locked. You know what it is. ESG Shake has my link tree. My ESG Shake on Twitter has my link tree with all that stuff, so you can keep it locked for all that content. And then after that, on Saturday, I know Teddy mentioned a little change in program for our reaction where I am just going to do the live reaction for the show, and then after the show is over, Teddy's going to hop on and we will do some live reactions as a tag team would work together, break it down, talk about the craziness that will probably be Survivor Series War Games. And it's going to be a blast. I'll be watching it live, hanging out on Twitch, on this channel. And then right after, Teddy's going to join me for a call, and we're going to break it all down.
The reason we're doing this moving forward is because Shake's...
Spoilers.
For some reason, his service is like 30 seconds ahead of mine. Maybe a minute. Even like it's like 30 to 45 seconds ahead. So it might even be longer. It might be a minute. And I just get spoiled. Like, you know, spoiler after spoiler.
I don't know anybody that hung out, but he had to take his headphones off last time, so he didn't hear me reacting to it.
I even put a pillow in front of my screen
for the Roman versus Roman match. Yes, it's great. But no, hey, shout out Ray in the chat. He's gonna be the man that when it starts to build and we're gonna find out who the fifth woman for Team Bianca is, I'm gonna need a camera on me because if it's Becky, things are gonna happen. It's gonna be ecstatic. It's gonna be electric. It's gonna need to be recorded. But I'm gonna try to get some interviews with some cool wrestling fans. Try to make some connections. Try to talk to some people about why they love wrestling. Hey, Ray, thank you for giving us the gas with the great show, boys. Appreciate you. I'll see you on Monday. I'm sure, we can get some games in before then. But I appreciate anybody and everybody that's hanging out and chilling with the hottest duo in wrestling podcast, the Hot Tag Podcast. And as always, peace out.
Peace.